Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are opening a file that smells distinctly of ozone, ancient parchment, and, if the reports are accurate, chalk and black earth.
That's a very specific combination.
It is. We are turning our attention to the Forelands, specifically focusing on the political and magical powder keg that is High Druid of Shannara, Jarka Ruus by Terry Brooks.
It's a fascinating case study. Usually when we talk about high fantasy, people expect the standard tropes: a dark lord on a black throne, a farm boy with a sword, a clear line between the light and the dark.
Right. Good versus evil, black and white.
And sure, those elements exist in the genre.
Mm-hmm.
But Jarka Ruus starts differently. It starts in a boardroom. Well, a council chamber, to be precise. It starts with a coup.
And that's what drew me into this particular stack of notes. We aren't just looking at a magical adventure. We are looking at a failure of statecraft.
It's pure political thriller, just with, sorcerers and rock trolls.
Exactly. So we have the first 11 chapters of this book on the table today. The mission is to unpack the disappearance of the Arteras, the High Druid, and analyze the conspiracy that took her down. We need to understand the mechanics of the weapon used, this liquid night, and we need to look at the fallout.
And the fallout is massive, because when you remove the head of a peacekeeping organization like the Druid Council, you don't just get a vacancy, you get a vacuum. And in the Forelands, vacuums are filled by monsters.
Sometimes human, sometimes
something else entirely.
Let's set the stage first, because context is everything here. We are at Paranor, the Druid's Keep. For those not familiar with the geography of Shannara, this isn't a cozy castle with tapestries and feasts.
No. Paranor is essentially the Pentagon and the Vatican rolled into one, but with fewer windows and way more drafty corridors. It's a fortress of solitude. It sits in a place that is removed from the rest of the world, quite literally, by magic.
And sitting at the very top of this lonely tower is Grianne Omsford, the Ardress.
The High Druid herself.
Let's profile her first. Because if you just look at the stats, she seems like she should be untouchable. She is an Omsford, which in this world is like being a Kennedy or a royal.
It's the bloodline of magic.
Exactly. She has the wish song magic of the voice. She's arguably the most powerful magic user alive.
Physically, though, the text describes her as deceptive. She looks young, startlingly young.
Like, how young?
If you walk past her, you'd think she was a girl of 20. Pale skin, blue eyes, an unlined face. But the source material makes a very specific distinction. Her spirit is old. She carries a weight that is palpable to anyone in the room.
Ah, okay.
It's the kind of heaviness you see in people who have lived through multiple lifetimes of trauma in a very short span.
And that weight comes from her history. And this is crucial to understanding why the coup happens. She wasn't always Gran the peacemaker. She wasn't always the benevolent High Druid trying to bring the races together.
Not even close.
She used to be the Ilse Witch.
And the Ilse Witch was a monster. There's no nice way to put it. She was a weapon forged by a warlock named the Morgauer. She murdered, she tortured, she destabilized nations. She was an agent of chaotic evil.
So she has this horrifying past.
She does. Now, she has been redeemed. She's turned a corner. She helped save the world in the previous trilogy. But redemption is a personal journey. It's not a political one.
That's a key insight. You can forgive yourself, and maybe your brother can forgive you, but that doesn't mean your employees forgive you.
Right.
It doesn't mean the world forgets the bodies you left behind.
Precisely. She established the Third Druid Council to be different from the previous ones. She wanted to be inclusive representatives from all races: trolls, dwarves, elves, gnomes.
It's kind of magical United Nations.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And she wanted to use the Druids to end the war between the Federation and the Freeborn, a conflict that has been grinding on for 50 years. She's trying to be a diplomat. But everyone looks at her and sees the butcher she used to be.
They're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
They're waiting for the mask to slip.
So she is isolated. The text mentions she rarely sleeps. She sits in the dark in her chambers. She has to ward her own bedroom against intrusion. That is a terrifying way to live, to be the boss, but to know that 90% of your staff would cheer if you dropped dead.
It creates a paralysis. This is the tragic flaw of Grianne Omsford in these opening chapters. She knows there is dissent. She knows people like Shade Aru hate her.
We'll get to Shade in a minute.
But she can't purge them. If she starts executing or banishing her enemies, she proves them right. She confirms their fear that the Ilse Witch is back.
So she's trapped by her own good intentions.
Exactly. She has to tolerate the intolerance. She has to let the vipers sleep in her bed because killing them would destroy her moral authority.
It's the paradox of power. To keep the peace, she has to allow war to brew right under her nose. And speaking of allies, she doesn't have many. Who's actually in her corner? Because it's a very short list.
It is literally and figuratively a short list. You have Tagwin. Tagwin is her personal assistant. He's grumpy, he's a worrier, he complains about the stairs and the cold, but he is fiercely loyal. He's been with her for 20 years.
So he knew her before she was the Ardries.
He's seen her whole journey. He sees the human being inside the legend. He knows she's trying. He's the only one who treats her like a person rather than a symbol.
And then for muscle, you have Kermadec.
The rock troll. Now, trolls in fantasy are usually depicted as big, dumb brutes.
Yeah, you just hit him with a club.
Right. But Kermadec is different. He is a Maturin, a leader of his people. The text describes him as having bark-like skin, standing 7 feet tall, but he moves with the grace of a moorcat. He's smooth, he's intelligent.
And he's her head of security.
She brought in his rock trolls to be her personal guard because she couldn't trust the Druid guard.
Think about the optics of that. The High Druid has to import foreign mercenaries trolls, no less to guard her bedroom because she can't trust her own order.
It's a massive signal of weakness.
It says, I am afraid of you. It's practically an invitation to the sharks circling in the water.
And the biggest shark is Shadea Aru.
Okay, let's pivot to the conspiracy. This isn't just a random mutiny, this is organized. And Shadea is the architect. She is a fascinating antagonist because she doesn't seem to think she's the villain.
Oh, few villains do. Shadea is a survivor. Her backstory is brutal and it informs everything she does.
Tell us about it.
She was orphaned young, raised on the streets of the Federation cities. She was abused by soldiers. She'd claw her way up from absolutely nothing. She learned magic from a dying cripple and used it to kill her tormentors.
So her worldview is shaped by trauma. It's defensive.
Completely. To Shadea, the world is binary. There are predators and there is prey. If you aren't holding the leash, you are the dog being kicked.
And she sees Grianne as prey.
She looks at Grianne's diplomacy, this attempt to broker treaties and talk things out, and she doesn't see nobility. She sees suicide. She thinks Grianne is making the Druids weak.
So what's her vision for the Druids?
Shadea believes the Druids should be the ultimate authority, ruling with an iron fist to ensure safety. Her own safety, mostly, but safety for the Order by extension.
Safety through tyranny. It's a classic authoritarian pitch. I will make you safe, but you have to obey.
It is. And she's physically imposing, too. Tall, Amazonian, short-cropped, blonde hair. She projects strength. She radiates the kind of certainty that attracts followers, and she has gathered a group called the Conspiracy of the Five to help her take Grianne down.
Let's run through the roster, because it really shows how broad the dissatisfaction is. It's not just one faction, it's a coalition of the willing.
Right. First up, you have Tarek Molt. He's a dwarf. But unlike Tagwin, he's aggressive. He's a brawler. He hates Grianne openly.
So he's the muscle of the coup.
Plain and simple. He wants power. He's the guy you send when you want something broken.
Then you have Iridia Illyri.
The elven sorceress. Cold, beautiful. Her motivation is pure vengeance. She remembers what the Il's witch did to the elves during the wars. She lost people.
So for her, it's personal.
Deeply personal. She can't forgive. For her, removing Grianne isn't about power. It's about justice. It's about balancing the scales.
And Trant Rowan, he's the one I find most interesting. He's a Southlander.
Trant is the moral center of the conspiracy, if you can call it that.
The moral center, yeah.
His parents were Federation politicians who were destroyed by the Ilsa witch. He isn't power-hungry like Molt, and he isn't a sadist like Shadea. He genuinely believes Grianne is unfit to lead because of her past crimes.
He's the political idealist in the group.
He represents the political opposition, the people who say, we can't have a war criminal running the UM. He thinks he's doing the right thing for the institution.
Which makes him dangerous because a true believer is harder to sway than an opportunist.
Speaking of opportunists, Pyson wins.
Ah, Pyson. The gnome. He's the wild card. Sneaky, ambitious, a bit cowardly. He's there because he thinks Shadea is a winning horse. He just wants to be on the side that hands out the promotions.
He's the bureaucrat.
He's the bureaucrat who survives every regime change by just nodding at the right time. So they meet in the cellars of Paranor. It's a classic cloak and dagger scene. Damp stone, flickering torches, secret oaths.
Very dramatic.
But they hit a snag. They want Grianne gone, but they can't just stab her.
Right. And there are two big reasons for that. One, she's just too powerful. If they attack her directly, she might just sing them all into oblivion with the wish song.
Yeah, that magic is no joke.
The wish song is incredibly destructive. It can shatter stone, it can liquefy organs. You do not pick a fair fight with an Olmsford. It's a bad career move.
And the second reason?
Legitimacy. If they murder the Ardries, it looks like a coup. It might start a civil war within the Order. They need her to disappear.
Yeah.
They need it to look like a mystery or an accident or a failure on her part.
Plausible deniability.
Exactly, which is when they reach out to their silent partner.
Enter the external partner. Send Dunstan.
The Prime Minister of the Federation.
This guy seems like a piece of work. He's the political leader of the Federation, the faction currently at war with the Freeborn. What is his relationship with Grianne?
It's extremely complicated. They were allies years ago when she was the witch and he was a rising politician. Then, he betrayed her to the Morgor.
Oh, wow.
So now he's terrified of her. He knows she has a long memory. He lives every day waiting for the other shoe to drop. He thinks it's only a matter of time before she comes for him.
So his motivation is fear.
Fear and ambition. He wants to win the war against the Freeborn. Grianne keeps interfering, trying to force a truce. If Grianne is gone, the gloves come off. He can crush his enemies. So he enters into a secret alliance with Shadea.
And he provides the weapon.
He does.
Liquid Night. Even the name sounds like something you shouldn't touch. What do we know about this substance from the text?
It's nasty stuff. The text describes it as an opaque, black liquid. It smells like chalk and black earth, the smell of a grave.
Ugh.
And here is the critical detail. It is not from the Four Lands.
Dunstan admits this.
He implies it heavily. He won't say where he got it. He acts very smug about it, like he's tapped into a new supplier that no one else knows about. This is our first clue that the conflict in Jarka Ruus isn't just local politics.
Someone else is pulling the strings.
Dunstan is dealing with external forces. He thinks he's clever, using this foreign magic to solve his domestic problem. But he's just a pawn.
And the mechanism of the liquid, what does it actually do?
It's a transport agent. It doesn't kill. It sends the victim away to another place from which there is no return.
A one-way ticket to nowhere.
It's a banishment spell in liquid form. And it bypasses conventional magical defenses because it doesn't attack the person. It attacks the space they occupy.
So the plan is set. Shadea spends weeks preparing. She unseals secret passageways in the walls of Paranor passages that haven't been used in centuries, so she can bypass Kermadec and his troll guards.
The patience of a predator. She waits. She watches. She maps out the route. She ensures there are no witnesses.
The scene in the bedroom is chilling. Grianne is asleep. Shadea creeps in. She doesn't attack physically. She just pours the liquid and casts a spell.
The description is vivid. It's not an explosion. It's a living darkness. The liquid expands, turning into a cloud that swallows the light. Grianne wakes up, realizes something is wrong, and tries to summon the wish song.
But it's too late.
She tries to sing the magic into existence. But the darkness is faster. It's soundless. It consumes the room, consumes her, and then nothing.
She's gone. Vanished.
And the room is empty, no blood, no body, just silence. It's the perfect crime.
This executes the second part of Shadea's plan, the frame job.
Which is brilliant and ruthless. The next morning, Grianne is missing. Shadea immediately points the finger at the rock trolls.
Of course she does.
She claims they failed in their duty. Or worse, that they were complicit. She spins a narrative that the trolls, being outsiders, couldn't be trusted.
It kills two birds with one stone. She gets rid of Grianne, and she gets rid of the only loyal military force Grianne had.
Exactly. She orders the trolls arrested. It consolidates her power instantly. The other druids, confused and scared, look to Shadea for leadership. She steps into the vacuum perfectly.
But she underestimates someone.
She always underestimates the little people, in this case Tagwin.
The grumpy dwarf assistant.
The one person who is paying attention. Tagwin sees the setup immediately. He knows Shadea has been plotting.
Yeah.
He sees the trolls being surrounded. He knows that if Grianne is gone, he is a loose end. He's dead meat.
He knows too much.
He knows too much about Grianne's private fears and her suspicions of Shadea, so he acts.
He warns the trolls.
He intercepts Kermadec at the gate. He tells them, "Don't come in, it's a trap." The trolls, realizing they are outmaneuvered, retreat to the Dragon's Teeth Mountains. They know they can't fight the entire Druid Order inside the keep.
And Tagwin runs.
He runs for his life.
Before we follow Tagwin, I want to rewind. There is a piece of the puzzle we skipped, and it's actually vital. The critique mentioned the prologue and the Skull Kingdom. We need to talk about that because it sets up the external force you mentioned.
You are absolutely right. Before the coup, Grianne went on a little investigation. She took Kermadec and flew to the ruins of the Skull Kingdom.
The Skull Kingdom was the lair of the Warlock Lord in previous books, right? It's basically ground zero for bad vibes in Shannara.
It is a place of ancient evil, polluted land. Grianne went there because scouts reported strange lights. When she arrived, she saw flashbangs of light and strange fires burning on the air. It didn't look like druid magic.
It felt wrong.
It felt industrial. It felt unnatural.
And she saw a face.
She did. She looked into the magic and saw a face in the fire. Blue ice eyes. Malevolent. She felt a summoning. Someone or something was calling out.
Was it trying to communicate?
More like baiting a trap. She attacked it with her magic, blasted it with the wish song, but it was a feint. It was designed to unbalance her, to make her fearful, to see what she was capable of.
This connects back to Dunsedan. He has the liquid night. He won't say where he got it. The implication is that Dunsedan is working with whatever was in that fire.
Exactly. Shadeya thinks she's the mastermind. Dunsedan thinks he's the mastermind. But the reality is, there is a third player. An unknown puppeteer. The entity in the Skull Kingdom provided the weapon to remove the Guardian of the Four Lands, Grianne.
And now the board is open.
Now the Four Lands are vulnerable. Shadeya is too busy consolidating power to notice that she's just opened the door for an invasion.
That context changes everything. It makes the political coup seem like a distraction.
It is a distraction, a very effective one. While the Druids are infighting, the real threat is massing at the borders.
Okay, back to the timeline. Tagwin has fled Paranor. He needs help. But who do you call when the High Druid vanishes?
You call her family. You call the Omsfords. Specifically her brother, Beck Omsford.
Beck is a legend in his own right. He has the wish song, too. He's powerful. He's a warrior. He was instrumental in saving Grianne's soul in the previous trilogy.
He's the logical choice. If you need someone to storm a castle and rescue a High Druid, you get Beck. Tagwin knows this.
So he makes a run for it.
A desperate run. He braves a horrific storm, crosses the mountains, and sails a ratty skiff across Rainbow Lake to get to Patron, where Beck lives.
But this is a thriller, so naturally things don't go according to plan.
Of course not. Tagwin arrives at Patron soaking wet and terrified, only to find that Beck isn't home. He and his wife, Rue Meridian, are off on an expedition. The house is empty, except for their son.
Penner and Omsford. Or just Penn.
Penn is our protagonist, and he is underwhelming, at least on paper.
How so?
He's a teenager, he's a bit of a gearhead, he loves airships, he feels stifled by his parents' fame, he's living in the shadow of giants.
And the most important thing about Penn is what he lacks.
No wish song.
Ouch. It has to be tough. In a family of magical heavyweights, he's the one who didn't get the gene.
It defines his self-worth. He thinks he's ordinary, he thinks he's a disappointment, even if his parents don't say it.
But he's not entirely without magic, is he?
He does have magic. It's just not the kind he recognizes as valuable. He has this deep, empathic connection with plants and animals.
See, empathy.
Yes. He can communicate with them. He can sense their feelings, understand their language. It's subtle. You can't throw a fireball with it. You can't shield yourself from a sword blow. It's a quiet magic. Penn thinks it's useless.
And honestly, looking at the threat matrix, evil sorceresses, demon dimensions, liquid night, it does seem pretty useless. If a dragon attacks you, knowing that the dragon is feeling hungry doesn't really help you not get eaten.
It seems that way, and that's why Shadeya and her conspirators don't care about him. They are terrified that Beck Omsford will come back and burn Paranor to the ground. They aren't worried about the kid who talks to the rhododendrons.
A fatal mistake, I'm guessing.
The biggest one they make.
But trouble finds him anyway, because Tarek Molt, the aggressive dwarf conspirator, is hunting Tagwin.
And he's brought the big guns, the Gallifile. This is the High Druid's personal flagship.
Yeah.
A massive airship. War ready.
We should pause and explain airships in this world, because the chase scene that follows is technically very interesting. These aren't just balloons.
No, the technology in Shannara is unique. It's a kind of magi tech. They use light sheaths, vast sails that catch light and convert it into buoyancy and thrust, utilizing diapsine crystals. It's a mix of magic and engineering.
And the Gallifile is the best of the best.
It's a battleship. It's heavy, fast, and armed with radiant energy weapons.
And Penn has a catamaran.
The Cat 28. It's a small sailing vessel he modified. He put stacked parse tubes on it. Basically, he hot-rodded it. It's built for speed, not combat. It's nimble, but fragile. A sports car versus a tank.
So Tagwin shows up, explains the coup, and moments later, the Gallifile drops out of the sky.
It's a scramble. Penn creates this amazing distraction. She just shoves Tarek Molt, this huge, angry dwarf. Just a pure act of teenage defiance.
I love that.
And in that moment of chaos, he and Tagwin jump into the Cat 28 and launch. Tarek Molt isn't trying to capture them. He's trying to kill them. He wants to smash them into the ground.
He's trying to erase the witnesses.
Exactly. Tagwin is a loose end that needs to be snipped. The chase moves into the Black Oaks. This is a dense, dangerous forest. Penn is flying aggressively, diving below the tree line, using the terrain.
This is where his gearhead nature pays off.
It's a testament to his piloting skills. He might not have battle magic, but he knows his ship. He overloads the crystals to get a burst of speed, which is dangerous. He could blow the ship apart to dodge a collision. He weaves through the branches using the small size of the Cat-28 to go where the massive Gallifile can't follow.
And they crash.
They do. They clip the trees and go down. The ship is wrecked. They are alive, but they are grounded in the middle of a hostile forest in a storm with a warship circling overhead like a vulture.
It feels like the end of the line. Tarek Molt has them dead to rights. He just needs to spot the wreckage and fire down on them.
But he doesn't. The Gallifile circles and then it flies away. It acts as if they aren't there.
Because of the intervention. This is where the story shifts from a political thriller to high myth.
Enter the King of the Silver River.
This figure appears in a lot of Brooks's work. Who is he for the uninitiated?
He's a fairy creature, ancient. He predates humanity, predates the elves even. He is a servant of the word, the force of good in this universe. He usually only shows up when the world is on the brink of total disaster.
The ultimate deus ex machina.
He's the cosmic balance keeper. He doesn't solve the problems, but he gives the heroes the tools to solve them.
He appears as an old man with a black staff and white robes, and he tells Penn, "I hid you."
He cast a glamour over the craft site, a concealment spell. The druid's sensors couldn't pick them up. They looked right at the wreckage and saw nothing but forest. But he didn't just come to save them, he came to recruit them.
He drops the truth bomb. Grianne isn't dead.
She is imprisoned, and Penn is the only one who can save her.
Again, the question comes up, why Penn? Why not wait for Beck? Why not call in the big guns? Why send a teenager with no combat experience?
The King of the Silver River is very specific about this. He says, the enemy expects the father. They do not expect the son. It's about the element of surprise. If Beck shows up, Shadea will see him coming a mile away and prepare.
But nobody is watching Penn.
Nobody. But it's also about the nature of the magic required for the rescue.
The quest object. The Tainical.
Penn has to go to the Charnel Mountains, another dangerous location, and find the Gardens of Stridegate. There he will find a sentient tree called the Tainical. He needs to ask it for a limb to fashion a dark wand.
And you can't just chop a limb off a sentient magical tree. I assume the tree would fight back.
Exactly. The book makes it clear the tree is immensely powerful and ancient. You have to ask, you have to communicate, you have to negotiate. And this is where Penn's useless magic becomes the key to saving the world.
He can talk to it.
He is the only one who can speak to the tree. He is the only one who can explain why he needs the wood. A druid would try to blast the tree or bind it with spells. Penn has to ask for a favor.
It's a brilliant inversion. The weakness becomes the strength.
It is. The dark wand is the key to the prison. It's a conjuring stick. It allows passage into the dimension where Grianne is held, but it is key to the user. The king says, only you can go. Penn has to walk into the prison dimension alone.
So the stage is set for the hero's journey. Penn, Tagwin, and the wrecked ship. But while Penn is getting his marching orders, we need to talk about where Grianne actually is, because the reveal of her location is horrifying.
It's a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
Grianne wakes up. At first, she thinks she's still in the Four Lands. She sees the Dragon's Teeth Mountains. She sees the landscape she knows. But something is wrong.
The colors are gone.
Everything is gray. The sky is a flat, sunless expanse. The trees are twisted and blighted. The ground is ash. It's the corpse of her world. It's a mirror image where everything has died.
That imagery is so bleak, it feels claustrophobic just hearing about it.
And she's not alone. She gets attacked almost immediately.
By a Dracha? What is that?
This is a deep cut from the lore. Drachas are dragon-like creatures, but they haven't been seen in the Forelands since the Age of Fairy, thousands of years ago. They are myths. Grianne fights it off, but she's weak. The transport drained her.
Her magic is failing.
Her wish song is sputtering. She manages to drive it back with a weak blast of power, but she realizes she is prey here.
Then she meets Weeka Dart. I love this character description.
He's great. He's an oak bog. Imagine a goblin, spindly, ugly, sharp teeth, terrified but chatty. He's a scavenger. He speaks to her, and Grianne realizes he is speaking a dialect of ancient Elven.
A language that hasn't been spoken for millennia.
Right, and he drops the name that changes everything. He calls the land Jarka Ruus.
Which means?
Which translates to the banished people. He talks about furies, he talks about dragons and demons, and Grianne realizes the truth. She isn't in a random dimension, she is in the forbidding.
We need to explain the forbidding to make sure everyone understands the gravity of this.
This is foundational Shannara lore. Eons ago, the elves used a great magic to banish all the demons, monsters, and dark gods from the world. They locked them behind a magical wall called the Forbidding.
So it's a prison dimension.
It's where all the nightmares live. Every monster that parents tell their children about at night, they live here.
And the wall is supposed to be impenetrable.
Supposed to be. But the Liquid Knight bypassed it. It sent Grianne through the wall. Now, she is the only human in a world populated entirely by creatures that want to eat humans.
And as far as she knows, there is no way out. The Elchris tree maintains the wall, but it doesn't have a door handle.
No one has ever entered the Forbidding and returned. She is trapped, and her magic is fading because the Forbidding itself seems to dampen the magic of the Four Lands. It suffocates the light.
So the most powerful druid in the world is suddenly just a woman with a stick lost in hell.
It's the ultimate reversal of fortune.
Let's pull back and look at the bigger picture. We have three distinct threads moving now. We have Shadea in control of Paranor, thinking she's won. We have Pen starting his quest for the tree. And we have Grianne fighting for survival in the Forbidding.
And connecting them all is that unknown puppeteer, the face in the fire.
The expert manipulation here is staggering. This third player provided the weapon to remove the Guardian, Grianne. Now the Four Lands are vulnerable. Shadea is too busy consolidating power to notice that she's just opened the door for an invasion.
It's hubris. We talked about it earlier. Shadea's hubris is thinking she can control the druids through fear. Dunsedan's hubris is thinking he can use dark magic to win a political war without paying a price.
And the price is usually paid by the innocent.
Or by the teenagers. Poor Pen.
Let's talk about the themes emerging here. We have loud magic versus quiet magic. The druids are all about force, fire, lightning, voice, and it causes endless conflict.
It's the magic of imposition. I've forced my will upon the world. Shadea is the ultimate example of this. She wants to bend reality to her desires.
And then you have Pen. His magic is connection. He listens. He asks.
The King of the Silver River seems to be making a point. The world doesn't need more force. It needs more understanding. The fact that the Tentacle Tree requires negotiation, not conquest, reinforces this.
So to save the Ardress, Pen has to be the anti-druid.
He has to succeed where force fails.
That is a beautiful insight. The system failed because it was built on power. It can only be saved by empathy.
And by a really fast boat.
True. The Cat 28 is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. I love that technical aspect, the idea that magic and engineering are blending. It feels like the world is evolving.
It is. The old magic is fading or changing. The druids are trying to hold on to the old ways, but the world is moving on. Pen represents that new world, a world where you don't just blast things with magic, but you build machines, you adapt.
I also want to highlight the role of loyalty. Tagwin is the MVP of these chapters. He has no magic, no weapons, he's small, but he saves the day because he refuses to abandon his friend.
He's the moral compass. Everyone else is making calculations based on power or ambition. Tagwin makes his calculation based on friendship.
And that's why he survives. If he had been ambitious, he would have stayed at Paranor and been killed. His loyalty was his survival strategy.
It's a great reminder that sometimes being a good person is the smartest tactical move you can make.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the first section of Jarka Ruus, where does that leave us?
We are on a precipice. The bad guys have won round one. Shadea is sitting in the High Druid seat. She's spinning a narrative that the trolls are traitors. The Federation is preparing to launch a massive offensive against the Freeborn now that Grianne isn't there to stop them.
And Grianne is fighting for her life against dragons in a dead world.
While Pen and Tagwin are embarking on a suicide mission to the Charnel Mountains, the odds are, catastrophic.
But that's when fantasy is at its best, isn't it? When the odds are impossible.
Absolutely. And I think the listeners should keep a close eye on that face in the fire we mentioned. The political coup is just the distraction. The real war hasn't even started yet.
That's a chilling thought. We are worried about who sits in the chair at Paranor while the walls of the world are burning down.
It's a classic misdirection. And Brooks is a master at it.
Before we go, I want to leave the listeners with a final thought. We've talked a lot about the Liquid Knight, this stuff that smells like the grave. Dunsedan thinks it's a tool. Shadea thinks it's a means to an end. But in this universe, magic usually has a cost. If you pour a living darkness into the world, can you ever really clean it up?
Or does the stain remain?
Exactly.
And if it transports people to the Forbidding, does it leave a door open behind them? That's the question that keeps me up at night.
On that ominous note, we are going to close the file on Jarka Ruus for today. If you haven't read the book, go pick it up. The political intrigue alone is worth the price of admission.
And maybe be a little nicer to your houseplants. You never know if they're passing messages to a teenage boy in an airship.
Good advice. Thanks for listening to the deep dive. We'll see you next time.